We will open the August 11, 2025 meeting of the Manchester Planning Board. Call to order. Roll call. Attendance. Brian Fry.
Here.
Peter Morton.
Here.
Gordon Brewster.
Here.
Chris Olney.
Here.
And Philbrick is here. And we have a quorum. I think the first order of business is discussion of proposed new downtown zoning district. So, Mark, do you want to give us a summary?
Okay, so building off of our downtown visioning sessions, and then the last meeting in which Kathy McCabe was here to present her findings, we talked about rezoning the downtown area into its own district, that the general district rules don't really work for a traditional downtown area, but the general district is much larger. The downtown only comprises about 20% of the entire general district. So we talked about it really kind of makes sense to create one's own district for the downtown and have very specific rules that would allow more of the types of things and uses and building footprints and lot coverages that would be more appropriate for a traditional village center. So what I put together is kind of the first step towards doing that, which was I went through our current use table and also added a few new uses, and also went through our dimensional table and parking requirements, and that's kind of the introductory part, as well as I prepared a map of a downtown district, pretty much very similar to most of the maps that we were seeing during our visioning sessions, where we had that during the workshop for people to draw a map. And so what I did is I tried to include most of the current businesses that are located right along Central and Beach Street, and then going up Summer Street and Elm Street as well. So I didn't really expand the district beyond where it's currently kind of the core area of commercial. That is something that over time can be done. Again, the map can be changed at town meeting. And the areas around this district are still zoned in the general district. So we're not changing the rest of the general district. So unless you're located in a small area, there would be no change to the zoning requirements that those property owners already are restricted by.
So just for clarification, is the entire proposed downtown district currently all in the general district, or does it go into some of the other zoning districts?
Look at this. Yeah, so what do you mean? So everything in this new downtown district is, well, not everything in this new downtown district is general district.
So what parts would not be in the current?
So the parts that are not is at the end of Beach Street, not the end of Beach Street, but the section of Beach Street where you cross the railroad tracks, and you have the large plaza on the left. That is
Harbor Point?
Yeah, Harbor Point, plus the additional 5 or 6 properties along Beach
Yeah.
Street,
Yeah.
like where the ice cream shop are, would be our zone, Zone A.
So those are in District
So
A.
those are in District A.
And any other areas that are not currently in the general district?
No.
One thing that might be helpful is for a board to take a walk, similar to what we did with MBTA zoning and doing our density walk and then our walks of each of the districts. It might be helpful once we get a little further down the line of changing zoning, might be helpful to take a walk to show folks exactly the properties that are included in a potential new downtown district. Just something to think about.
So I have a question. So Mark, why is 10 to 12 Beach Street not included in the downtown, since it's already mixed use? Or is that-
Well, it's part of, as best as I could tell, I believe it's part of the larger property. Maybe they're all condos.
They are all condos.
Okay, so that's why I didn't
Which one are you
include
referring
it.
to, Chris?
10 to 12 is right on the north side of Summer Street.
With the
the
flower
north
shop
side.
and the coffee
Oh,
shop.
right here.
Yeah,
So that's why I didn't include it, because it was part of the larger property, which includes condos in the back.
well, is there any reason not to include the condos in the back?
So this doesn't include the Laughing Gull either?
No.
Right.
That would be
No, it's
in
that
that,
building right there.
that's in the building.
Now, that's in the MBTA zoning overlay district, so it may not be an important which district it's in, but. And I'm not gonna die on this hill.
Is it something that you would like to see included, Chris?
I would, from a practical point of view, yes, but I'm, like I say, it's not critical because it's already developed and doing very well as it is. But I think it does meet the intent of what this new downtown development district is about.
I just offer a personal observation. I've got the zoning map right here, and I can see the general district, and it defines everything it defined. And then if I don't have the MBTA zoning district, but it defines what it defines. And now I look at this one, and it defines what it defines. It's all, a lot of them are the same, but then there's little pieces of them that are not. Is there a reason? Would that not cause confusion when somebody goes to develop something here? If he has to refer to 3 different zones, overlay the top of this thing, and you may be the little finger that's outside of that.
No.
Does it make sense to have
So
a
it's-
more consistent look?
So
This is just a question.
this development district, I thought it was gonna be an overlay district, but it's not. It's actually changing. It's a new district. It's a new underlying district.
So it's,
So the MBTA overlay would overlay this.
right.
So how would that be different than the general district? Is the general district down to this district
No,
and the
so
MBTA?
No,
Gordon, this area in here would no longer be
In the general district.
Okay.
This
So
would be
that's-
a new base zoning district, because there's no advantage to keeping the general district zoning. A lot of the uses are going to be fairly similar, and we'll go through that. And there's not a big distinction. The distinction, aside from allowing a few more uses and allowing mixed use and other things, reduce setbacks, there's not huge changes, but the changes are important enough in order to facilitate a more vibrant village development over time in the future.
So to the simple-minded myself, yeah, this district would be defined, if I look at the overall town,
New
I would
thing.
have a new district here defining this thing. So I'd have still a little bit of the general district light blue on here, and a little bit of here, and a little bit there.
Right.
And it would surround this district
Mhm.
as the
Yeah.
downtown. Okay.
Correct. This area is only about 20% of the overall area of the general.
Okay, then you've cleared up my confusion.
Well, it's a good question. It's one that I think is gonna come up.
Right.
Inevitably, it has to.
More lines. Mark, are we supposed to acknowledge the yellow here?
Oh,
or
no,
anything?
that's
Okay,
just,
all right.
yeah, right.
Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
That's
Ignore
okay.
the yellow?
Ignore the yellow, yeah.
So go on, I interrupted.
Okay, so I did put the map up on the screen for, I believe people at home can see that we are kind of keeping it well defined into a limited area. And so that's really the map and the reasoning for the map. I did include the rest of the land behind Town Hall, Senior Center, what soon to be in the wastewater treatment plant and parking lot. I just thought it makes sense to keep it all contiguous within the downtown district.
May I ask another broader question, Mark?
Mhm.
What's the distinguishing characteristics of the downtown district?
Well, you would allow for greater density, reduced setbacks, a few additional uses that you wouldn't be permitted in the rest of the general district. So you're trying to create some uniqueness to the downtown area. I'm proposing that we do include design review as well, so that and that we utilize the design reviews that we set up for the CHOD that was approved today by EOHLC. So
Yay.
those people at
Yay
home
for the-
who haven't heard, that's been
Yay for the
approved.
MBTA zoning guy.
So,
That's good, thank you.
another observation on geography and what is included. There are currently some residences
Mhm.
in this area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots.
So what are your thoughts on that?
So obviously, those residences, I believe, would still be permitted. We did not prohibit single-family dwellings in this district. And so they are still in allowed use and continue to remain.
Go on.
So that you're getting into the various uses. So if you would like, you can go to the use chart.
Sounds good.
Okay, so let me see if I can't close this and open the use chart. On downtown district. Now, go. There it is. So, so the first part is directly from our bylaw. I didn't really change that because we're not changing how things are designated. But then we get to the use, and I called the downtown district simply the downtown district. It's the first column. And I did put the general district because most of this area is in the general district. So as a comparison, And so didn't make too many changes, but there are a few as we go through. So the first one is single family. I left that the same as a permitted use. Two-family, I put as a planning board special permit. Again, I don't think we want to really encourage new two-family uses in the district. Last one was a tiny bit controversial. So conversion of a one-family dwelling into a two-family dwelling, again, I made that a planning board special permit, and as well as conversion of a dwelling into a three-family dwelling. So we're multifamily units, not more than 4 units. I said no. Residential conversion cluster is a no. Not going to develop there anyways. So those were our current residential uses. So there's no change to the residential.
Okay, so I have a question
New
about the very first one, a single-family
Yep.
detached dwelling. So that would mean that someone could buy a cargo and tear it down and build a single-family house there.
Yes, but provided there's another use.
Say that again, Chris, or somebody,
So there's another new use that I am proposing that says if you're going to conversion of first floor commercial space to residential,
Where are you?
that would be a special permit. For residential uses on the first floor of the building, be a special permit. So that's,
Well, that's fine unless you want to build a single-family house, in which case you should just do it. And so I'd like to propose that yes be PB, for a single-family house.
mhm. Okay.
what's your point, Chris? I'm sure I.
So we're trying to encourage commercial uses in the downtown with residential above it. But if you're just allowing a single-family house, that means you can just build a single-family house by right, without any commercial use at all. And I don't think we want to encourage new single-family houses in the downtown.
That would be the point. So we would say not allowed?
No, it's allowed with a special permit from the planning board, just to, we're not want to disallow single-family houses. We just don't, we would prefer them, it depends on the site, of course. Maybe somebody's gonna have a great idea for a single-family house, and we'd approve it, but
Does the detached dwelling matter here? It says detached dwelling.
well, again, I think in fact a detached, I mean, if you're trying to create density in the downtown instead of out in the neighborhoods, we want to encourage single-family houses in the neighborhoods, but in the downtown, putting a single-family house there kind of, it takes away the density, really.
So presumably, if we had a commercial space downtown, and if it died, and somebody owned it, they could tear down the building and build a
Single-family house, yeah, with a garage in the front yard,
Oh,
like the hardware store. Let's say Allen goes out of business. So he sells it to somebody who comes in and builds a single-family house and plans to put the yard there.
So definitely something to think about for the single-family homes that are there already.
They're grandfathered. So they're
Do you want to just explain how that works?
So if you're, well, maybe let Mark explain.
Well, they would be considered a pre-existing non-conforming
Non-conforming
use.
use.
And so they would, of course, be able to continue to remain and as such. And
They could be
But-
added to, and
but hopefully over time, they would be converted, renovated, added to as the success, hopefully, of the downtown core becomes a little more vibrant and busier, with additional commercial uses. But then again, you walk into many very busy downtown areas, and there are mixed in residential uses scattered about, so it doesn't mean that they're eventually going to go away. They just are another facet of a downtown. But I don't think you want to, like Chris says, encourage a lot more of that.
Well,
kind
if I
of
listen to what Chris says, I listen to everything Chris says.
That's your
But
problem.
the idea, what is our end game here? It's not necessarily to build single-family homes in downtown.
That's right.
Okay, so would we not allow single-family homes? If someone had that commercial space, it died, they couldn't immediately put up a single-family home.
Yes, it would have to go through the special permit process.
If we
And
said
that's on the
no,
uses.
if we said no, then you can't get a special permit, you couldn't build a single family.
What would be our reasoning for saying no? That would be,
I think there's an argument to be made to say no, but I don't think, I think we want to have some flexibility in what the downtown looks like.
I guess that's kind of what the question I'm delving into here. If we say that they can build a single-family home down there, if you basically say whether it's special permit or not,
Yeah.
like that would mean they could, and does that meet what our long-term goal wants to be? I offer that as a question, not as a suggestion.
So,
Yeah, I think our long-term goal is to allow residential uses in the downtown, but not as a single-family home, but as an accessory to additional commercial use, whether
Right.
it be residential in the back or upstairs or basement apartments, but maintain and enhance the commercial uses. So, so I think Chris's suggestion kind of pushes properties in that direction.
So let's say we change to planning board special permit. So if we have a hearing, someone wants to tear down a current commercial business, what would be our reasoning and how would we legitimately be able to say no? You
Yeah.
can't turn a commercial into a single family when single family is allowed with a special permit. I mean, what conditions would we put on that to avoid changing commercial to single family?
so we would have to rely on our performance standards. And they would say it's got to be within the context of the surrounding neighborhood. So if the surrounding neighborhood is all stores, it wouldn't be appropriate to have a single family house stuck in the middle of it.
Well, so I'm not asserting a position one way or the other, but take your example of Hardwick. So there are single-family homes across the street, there's single-family homes behind, and there's a single-family home on at least one side.
Yeah,
So I'm just trying to see how it would play out.
In that case, the context would be single-family home. Okay,
well,
But
not
you're changing a
necessarily.
commercial space into one.
changing use.
Yeah, it's a change of use.
Just things to think about.
So like,
And remember what Jim was saying, Jim Brown was saying last meeting too, about mandating?
Yeah,
That was his biggest fear.
yeah.
what was that?
He said,
The head of the
if
Chamber
we
of Commerce.
required a commercial building, we might just end up with a vacant
Yeah,
space.
yeah. This is a bit of a challenge here.
So one other question, in the general district, currently, where we have the Ys,
No.
I can't remember. Is it by special permit?
No,
Or-
those are by
no,
right.
So
That's
they
by
are
right.
by right. Okay, so you're changing then that for a two-family, a conversion of a 1 to 2 and another to require a special permit. So what's your thinking there?
Well, the same thing, if they can provide a valid reason why it fits into the neighborhood and the context. Maybe it's a way of preserving a historic home by making it a two-family and, really old historic building, of which we have several, in the district, but making it 2 units instead of 1 might be a way of preserving the historic structure. So, so allowing for it, but again, it's a special permit, you have to meet the criteria.
But you're changing it from current by right
That's
to
correct.
special permit.
Mhm.
That's what I'm trying to figure out when folks ask.
Mhm.
What about a single family that has commercial first floor?
That's not a single family.
Yeah.
That's a mixed-use building.
Okay.
All right, onward.
Okay. So then we get to, again, all these uses and their descriptions are exactly, are what we currently have. So we haven't gotten to any proposed changes. So use of land, so most of these are the community uses, which are almost all the same. Use of land and structures for religious purposes, educational purposes, childcare, municipal uses, charitable. So those are all permitted under the general, and we're still permitting them under the downtown district. Then there's a couple of planning board special permits, which is for charitable or philanthropic use, hospitals, nursing care facilities, sanitariums. I left that as a planning board because that's a huge group there. I don't know whether you really want to leave that as a, or whether that you'd want to make that a no. In the,
Which one, Mark?
number
Cemetery?
6.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah. B6.
Why would you make it a
Well,
no?
if you make it a no,
Oh,
Charitable or
B6.
philanthropic use.
Right, I mean-
That could be a gallery.
yeah, or Greenbelt wants to have their office there.
Well, that's, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. They've grouped in hospitals, nursing care facilities, and sanitariums into a charitable or philanthropic use. So, so somebody having an office, which you want to encourage, is the others you may not want, but it's all in one group. So,
Because that's how it is now.
because that's how it is now. That's correct. So,
But if you wanted to open a sanitarium, you would have to come before the planning board.
yes.
So I understand why you do that, Mark, because that's how the general district is done, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
And to avoid having to break up the uses for a whole separate thing,
Yeah, I mean, ideally, you would take charitable and
philanthropic.
that's
Yeah.
the word, philanthropic uses, and that would be a separate line item, because really it's mostly a office use, or you could even say charitable and philanthropic office use as a separate line item, and then hospitals, nursing care, and sanitariums are all very similar, and that would be a different line item. So if you wanted to make some adjustments to this chart, that would be a way of doing it, and then you can split those out and allow the charitable and philanthropic uses as permitted uses, because they probably shouldn't even come to the planning board for a special permit. They should be permitted, while the other ones you would not want,
Right.
and they really don't provide, none of them, a lot of vibrancy to a downtown area. So you'd want to say no.
Some of these might become Dover Amendment things.
Right,
Well, that's why I kind of left the religious uses and the educational ones. I just left them all as a yes.
Yeah.
so the other issue is for this one area that is currently A
Mm-hmm.
and gets turned into downtown district. A doesn't currently have many of these uses,
No.
so that's a big change.
Except
But
that's the reality of those
But
So it
that's-
is, that's the reality,
Yeah.
right?
But most of that area that is A is used commercially
It is,
today. So,
absolutely. There's maybe one or two residences there.
yeah, along Beach
Beach,
Street.
right.
Yeah,
Right, sorry, to keep interrupting.
Yep, no.
I noticed 8 Cemetery Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume that's an N.
Yeah, that would be an end.
Cemetery not conducted for profit.
So, are we going to number 9 now under community facilities? Because public utility or public communications building? There's some there already?
Yeah, well, there's the is it National Grid or
Yeah.
telephone building just past the dry cleaner?
Yeah,
I left that out of the downtown district. If you look at that, I believe I
Clever.
stopped at that building. So,
maybe we should include it though, because who knows?
no, I
might wanna
figured
sell
we
it.
could always make a zoning change in the
No,
future.
Well, we couldn't, I mean, we haven't done it yet, so we
Right.
could include,
Yes, but it's certainly something to think about. But
right?
I mean, ideally, you would still make that a no if you included it in the district,
Yeah,
because you would want to promote its eventual redevelopment when it's no longer necessary for whatever it's used for.
what is the communications building, I wonder? I mean, a telephone company building?
Verizon building or something that,
So is that building in A?
No, it's in the general.
It is,
district.
okay.
Yeah, all those, even the house up, just past
Right.
it is in general district.
Okay,
So then the next uses are the agricultural uses. And so non-nuisance agricultural, horticulture, floriculture, I said yes.
so someone can have a flower
That's
garden?
the flower shop, right? Right, something like a flower shop, or,
Yeah,
Well, I think it's for growing things too.
right.
right,
Like a window box.
it's more for growing things, yeah. So, greenhouse nursery uses for horticultural and floricultural, I mean, it's allowed now, I said no, but
Well, there was a greenhouse, but that was behind there.
Okay.
But there is a florist, but that would be in one, florist
the
would be in
florist
one.
would be probably under just a regular
Retail.
commercial
Oh, okay,
retail.
all right.
Yeah,
What is nuisance agriculture? Is that like
Raising pigs.
marijuana dispensary or
No,
grows?
That is its own,
That's its own
yeah,
section.
raising pigs is a nuisance.
well, that would be the raising and keeping of livestock, including poultry, which is number 3. That is a no.
why, sorry, Mark, why would you say no to 2? The greenhouse nursery uses for horticultural and floricultural purposes?
I don't know.
Maybe it's something like a Chapman's or something, would that be in that category?
What?
over in Beverly on North Street.
Leonard's,
Yeah, we're not, I mean, they're tucked away in some
Mm-hmm.
neighborhoods,
yeah,
and they, they attract business. I'm just wondering whether,
Yeah, what would be the downside of including?
so a greenhouse can be, have a retail shop in front of it, which is good.
Right.
But it could just be a greenhouse with, no one goes there at all.
Oh, we could make it a special permit, so at least it's,
Yeah, that might be,
Yeah,
like, let's say the hardware store wanted to start
a
a
floral,
garden
yeah,
section.
no, you're right.
You know,
Yeah.
and have a greenhouse added on the side
Yeah,
and,
just make it a-
you know, so. Okay. Then we get to the commercial use. So the first one is business, professional office buildings, banks and financial institutions. Kept that a yes. Office of a doctor, dentist, or other member of a recognized profession, yes as well. Medical office building for not more than 3 doctors. Not sure why, but in the general district, that's CBA special permit. I think that should just be a permitted use.
Chris, do you have any knowledge of the history of that? Why ZBA is our number 3?
no,
It may be just because your general district has a lot of residential areas included in it. So that might be reason for that. But here we're pretty much trying to confine it to just a truly commercial district. So general retail uses, obviously a yes. Personal and general services, a yes. Restaurants are a yes. Indoor recreation club or facility is not allowed in the general, but I put it as a special, planning board special permit. So,
Remember in the forum, there was a lot of interest in like entertainment
Yeah,
downtown.
there was.
So,
Right.
yeah,
yeah, I
There
mean,
was.
yeah.
so for example, I guess the Legion Hall would
Yeah.
be considered a club.
Yeah.
And it's in the district that we're talking about. And if someone wanted to do another type of indoor facility by membership, it brings people here for
Bowling,
activities.
An oceanfront establishment.
Mhm. So, there. We're up to 8. Printing and publishing establishment, we left that as a yes. Yacht, storage, construction, and services and related uses. So the way this district is currently constructed, we don't have any of those uses in here because we tried to confine it. So I made it not permitted.
mhm.
Don't think our boat ramp and kayak storage and stuff really would counts there. It's not the same thing.
What if someone wanted to open like a West Marine?
Well, that's a
Would that be
retail
in this?
store.
Okay, so that's not in this
Yeah.
category, okay.
Yeah, so that would be like our Crosby, not
Crockers.
Crockers,
Yeah.
yes, Crockers and Manchester Marine would be those types of facilities, and they're not being affected by this at all. It'd still be a permitted use because they remain in the general. Fish, shell fishing, landing, storage, handling, but not a fish processing or similar plant. So I put that as a no, but again, that's something I know our commercial dock is over off of Masconomo Park, which is not being included.
Mhm.
I don't know whether I don't want to really preclude anything like this, but, I mean, what if, I'm trying to think if someone opened a, like a lobster pool, where that would be mostly perhaps a retail place,
Right,
but,
your restaurant.
but it could also be, they could also do that, wholesale it out of there as well, like in many of the like Rockport, there's a place about halfway down on the right, therefore, as long as I can remember.
So I have a question regarding that you brought up Crockers and
Mhm.
Manchester Marine. That's a part of the general district?
Yeah.
So no retail permitted, right?
Yeah, we're not, well, no.
Yeah, retail's allowed in the general
Yeah,
district.
Yes,
they're allowed,
okay.
yeah.
Right. So if they wanted to open like an ice cream shop or
Sure.
something out there, they could do that.
Mhm. So, I don't know whether you want that a no or a planning board special permit
Which
perhaps.
one, Mark?
Eleven.
Fish and shellfish.
Fish landing. I don't know if that goes well with the mixed use
Yeah.
downtown.
But being in a waterfront locale where you do have fishermen who.
Yeah.
What if it was like a pop-up shop or a food truck situation? Just selling shellfish
Well,
or.
that's the thing, is then that would not be permitted. So that's why I'm thinking maybe it should be a planning board special permit. The more we're talking about it, the
Yeah.
more I'm thinking,
Yeah.
that may not be necessarily a bad.
No, Brian made a good point. If it is, because we talked, that was a big interest in the forum too, where food trucks,
Right.
things, yeah.
Okay, wind energy conversion systems, they're already a no. Let's see, I don't know what WECF.
That's wind energy conversion, isn't it?
Yeah,
I just figured that out. I had that question too, Mark.
Okay.
I don't know what the F stands for.
We don't want any towers,
Facility.
so.
facility, I
Yes,
think.
but it's no now, and I propose it to still be a no. Large scale solar installations.
farm.
Yeah, that's a no. Parking or garaging of automobiles not incidental to another permitted use.
So, if they tore down cargo and put a parking lot there, that's not gonna help anybody.
No.
Well, but it could, like what if you wanted to deck the town hall lot?
We'll get a special permit.
Or you redevelop the big, what do you call it? Or like, just across the railroad tracks behind Crosby.
Asconoma?
No,
Oh, the
Harbor
Reed
Point?
Park?
I
Yeah.
can never remember what that's called. You wanted to put a deck on there in the back.
so wouldn't that be, so what, but this would just allow just the deck and nothing else.
Yeah, well, just parking, yeah.
Ugh.
Mhm.
Personally, I think structured parking kills the area.
I mean, I'd say special
It's
permit,
better.
I'd say special permit if
Okay.
it's
I
part
mean,
of
it's
a
a
big
special
development.
permit now.
Yeah, keep it.
Yeah.
It's special permit now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying let's make a special permit again?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I've seen, frankly, I've built too many structured parking. It has a tendency to just neuter an area.
Yeah.
Strips the personality right out of it.
Whereas helicopter landing, now that's something.
Oh, my God.
I park mine right in the backyard.
Yeah. Reed Park, what a perfect.
I made that a no.
That's good.
Marijuana, adult entertainment, and labs are also,
So just curious, Mark, sorry.
Yep.
Because you've been pretty consistent
Mhm.
with the general and the downtown district zoning.
Yep.
I mean, why wouldn't we allow a special permit for someone who wants helicopter landing, storage, or park facility?
If you don't want people landing helicopters in downtown.
It might be an amusement, right? Well, no, I'm somewhat serious because in that, in the forum too, they're like, how about events? What can you do for events?
Well, they
So,
could land in Masconomo Park.
Right, they'd need a bigger area, then
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
no,
we need
there's
to
not a
have
big
the
enough,
downtown.
unless you cleared out our parking lot back here to let them land helicopters, but then
Yeah.
you don't really have
So
place to put
we-
people.
There's a special permit for that in the general district.
Yeah, so they could,
Mhm.
So if you want to build one on top of your house.
and by the way, individual events aren't covered by zoning. An event is a different thing.
Right.
So then we get up to accessory uses. I left most of these the same. For borders, left that a yes. Maintaining any lot, not more, maintaining on any lot, not more than one commercial vehicle. I left that a yes. Garaging or maintaining more than 4 automobiles when accessory to a dwelling. I left that ZBA.
Mhm.
Tennis courts, similar courts when accessory to a dwelling. I left that at ZBA. Swimming pools, accessory to a dwelling, ZBA. Accessory dwelling units. Now, we've removed that, I believe, from our use chart.
Should we put it back in
Well,
to
no.
reflect the current law?
No, because
Because
we're
it's
still
all
waiting,
section.
AG's approval of our current bylaw, which is why I left it blank, because that comes out. Because we have other
But
things.
shouldn't it say yes across all the districts, every residential
If we,
district?
yeah, I'll check. Well, by our next meeting, we'll have heard from the AG.
Okay,
So I'll correct that line
Okay.
to the way we adjusted the zoning bylaw.
and could we allow more? I don't know how many are allowed. How many are allowed under the current bylaw, do you know? Is it vague?
Well, that's, yeah. Kind of vague. Yeah, and the law's intention was done by the
Specifically
state
that way.
specifically to keep it. So,
Okay. We can touch on this later.
yes, yeah, well, I'm sure we will. But I think by our next meeting, we'll have the AG's. And then number 7, I believe, also goes away as part of an existing structure, stable living quarters for an employee.
Yeah, we want that out, that's gone.
So that definitely
Yeah,
went
that's
away.
Yeah,
Then customary home occupation. Second. Home occupation conducted in a dwelling by a person residing on the premises is still permitted. Then we get to accessory uses or structures on the same lot with and customarily incidental to a permitted main use on the same premises, including off-street parking, is a yes. Family daycare or a home daycare for large is a ZBA, is what it is in the general district. Family daycare small is a yes. I believe that might be protected use. Adult social daycare, ZBA, but that's the same.
What is that?
Where you
for
drop off.
seniors who take
The
it.
council and AG go
Yeah,
through.
kind of like that, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet, I'm getting there. Getting there soon.
Yeah.
Faster than you think.
Yeah, it's when you can't be quite left alone at home.
Got it. Got it,
So,
thank you.
which I don't know in your case. How much longer do you have?
Touche.
And then others, matters including the construction or alteration of any structure used therein, all or any part is which is within the mean tideland line below the mean high water. That's where we often review docks and
Docks.
seawalls and that stuff. So I left that planning board. So then I felt that at least a few uses we ought to add. And so one is a hotel or inn.
We did get a lot of
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
feedback on that in the forum.
What was it, the positive response?
People want something small,
Something small.
yes.
An option.
Mm-hmm. One another option.
Well, some people want something. Who knows once this becomes,
Bigger discussion.
you know,
Yeah.
what the general feeling will be. But there was a great deal of interest in something small.
We may have to go back to a special permit, but I don't think it's bad to try yes for now.
Now, also you'll notice since I've added it as a new use, I prohibited it in all the other districts with one exception. I did add it as a permitted use in the LCD, which is across the highway, which is where we have two highway exits.
Yeah.
And I thought it might be a good use to permit over there.
Yeah, you might have people coming in to sell signaling.
Mm-hmm, right, they do have additional development land on phase 2, so.
Very interesting.
So helicopter landing and, oops, gotta flip the page here. So then we get to a couple others. I don't know if they're necessarily the same, but conversion of first floor commercial space to residential. That's a new, so if you have a building with first floor commercial space and you want to make it residential or a portion thereof, I made that a special permit.
So wouldn't that be PB? That's-
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yep.
all right.
PB. And the next one I added was similar, but it's residential uses on the first floor of a building. So,
So we're not gonna make it mandatory.
Yeah. Because you may just get vacant space.
So that was Jim's discussion and Gar's discussion. Wow.
And I think Kathy had the idea of the first 30 feet of it from the street.
right,
Mini, yeah.
yeah, so,
Might be something. to
How
think
would
about.
that work?
so you would,
So you could have at the
Oh,
back of
Yeah.
the first
Back.
floor,
okay.
could be a residential.
so for example,
So not the
7
residents in
Central.
the first 30 feet. Commercial. in the
Yeah.
first
Yes.
30.
Just a store, so it's storefront.
Yep, okay.
I didn't put any of that language in this first
Right.
run through.
No,
So we can have some additional discussions about whether you want to require that, but
Yeah.
that would be kind of the example of 7 Central,
yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
whereby
exactly.
we gave them a special permit to have first floor in the back
right.
and above for 3 residential units. And, but the front part of the street is excuse me.
Something to
wasn't
think
it-
about the allow versus require, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't there some early discussion with Cargo about having the front of that street level be potentially an office, gallery, or something
Yes.
like that? And
Yeah.
they said no.
no, they didn't say no, they
Yeah.
said
They'll
it's not
design it
allowed
that
under
way.
current zoning, you need a special permit to do that, so we're,
So they would have, they would have.
but they're designing it, I believe, to accommodate that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe the zoning gets changed in time before they start building that.
So I didn't propose any notes or changes. I haven't gone through yet, like a page and a half of notes, and I don't know whether some of the notes need to get adjusted for downtown district, but I'll look
To be determined.
at that to be determined.
So
First pass though, which you did.
is there mixed use? Any kind of mixed use allowed by
Well,
right?
again, that's kind of where I have to go into whatever we have in our zoning related to change of use and kind of exempt or change that language for for the downtown district.
So your question, Chris, was that there's no mixed use allowed?
No, it's not explicitly in these.
Well, that's and my question is it explicitly prohibited elsewhere? I mean, I know it's something that
That's why it'd be good to clarify it. for everybody.
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Okay.
You can say no, 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 yes.
All right, so let me add that to this here, clarify. Mixed use.
No livestock and no poultry, I guess. Damn. So one instead of farm.
I hate chickens though, fresh eggs.
Structure. Okay, so then we get to the dimensional requirements. And so again, I'm showing the general district and then the downtown district. And this is our current setback and lot requirements. So I kept the lot size the same as 6,000 square feet. Kept the frontage the same at 60 feet. The minimum lot width, I kept the same at 50.
So why zero setback,
Well,
front and side?
That's what's in the downtown now.
so that. Yeah, so your traditional downtown and many of your buildings are right up abutting next to each other or up at the, at the sidewalk. So that is.
So you're saying if someone wanted to build a private home, they would have to build it right on the back of the sidewalk?
Well, they're
They
not
don't have
required to. It's not a required setback. It is, you can build up to.
It's the minimum setback.
Build it up to, oh, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Build it up to zero, or make it whatever you want.
I mean, some downtowns do have like maximum setbacks
That's
as
what I'm
well.
wondering whether we should consider that.
So they have a minimum and then they have a max so that you don't stick your building in the back and you break up that streetscape and
Mhm.
that creates, even if you have to walk past a residential home, there's something there that you're walking past so you don't feel like the parking lot in the front. The other thing is if someone does want to do a commercial proper business, but wants to have a big parking lot, wants everyone to see it, they stick the parking lot in the front, and the building in the back, and then that also breaks up the streetscape and the pedestrian likelihood of people walking past parking lots. So a lot of village centers will have a minimum and a maximum,
So what would
between
be
0 and 10 or 15 feet at max for a front setback.
Yeah, it might be good.
Yeah. Not sure how you format it with all these
Well,
others.
you probably have to add a new column
Right.
and then, have a maximum and.
Then a bunch of NAs and,
And in most of the districts, because we'd have to put it down for each of the districts, there'd be 0. There's no maximum setback.
Right,
in a
right,
residential district, but only in this district would there be a number.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
What else? Lisa? Lot coverage requirements. Lot coverage requirements, so right now in the general district, you can only cover 40% of the lot with a structure and a maximum of 70% of the lot with pervious surfaces. So in the downtown district, I changed that to 70 and 90%.
And how'd you come up with this?
Well, 90% allows for some green, a little bit, a little
A little
buffering. If the building is set back a little bit,
Which it doesn't have to be.
which it doesn't have to be, gives them a little green in the back or whatever, but I mean, you really do want to encourage as much development as possible. This is your core area, and you really do want to make it as dense, you know.
But we
Again,
don't
you don't
want,
want to build it necessarily up, but you do want this kind of commercial core.
well, we don't want treeless
Mhm.
and greenless spaces either.
Mhm.
And what would Laura say? She wouldn't like 90%.
Is there like a
Ask her.
comparison wise, how
It would
does
come
this
out of
fit
retirement.
into other communities of our size? And do we have like a rough gauge
I don't
on?
have that sheet.
I think I used similar numbers years ago in Lincoln, New Hampshire, when I did the downtown district there.
I know all those.
There's no industry, I agree. Is there
Missing a
any
page.
industry standard or is?
Not really.
Oh, no, I guess
Varies
that's
from place to place and kind of more urbanized, even small towns, but might have already a core developed area. I'm sure it may be 100% locked up.
And the other thing is, just the environmental impact of not having places where water can go. I don't know, 90% seems high, but I'm open.
All right.
I wonder whether we can
Maybe I'll,
just support that with a little data.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
see if I can't dig up a few more communities that you might be familiar with and see what their requirements are. I mean, one of the nice things is here we're all on water and sewer, so that helps a lot in allowing for much denser footprint. So here's a question. Height regulations, I didn't necessarily propose anything, but I asked the question. Do we want to increase the height to 3.5 stories or 45 feet instead of our current 2.5 stories and 35 feet, maybe by special permit?
Based upon how folks felt through the MBTA zoning process, I would say no.
Okay. Mhm.
So would we not consider something not having a 45-foot flat face on the back sidewalk? Would we consider something that's tiered back off it, but still give you the full height?
I don't know. I just know how
Right.
folks react.
There are a bunch of buildings in the downtown and in the general
I know.
district that are 45 feet.
I know.
So it's a little, I'm tempted to say special permit and see what happens.
That could we not
This
add
is
that
all
to a
preliminary
design?
too,
Right,
right?
right,
So
it
I
is.
would agree with Chris, let's just put
Yeah, well,
special
that could be.
permit, especially if there are
design
some
process,
already.
and
in
it
existence.
isn't. If
What
we
was the
did it by
feedback on
special
that height
permit,
restriction for the
you
height
could say
addition,
no
I should
here
say,
and do-
and like the reasoning behind?
Why do people,
Pushback.
I think it's the idea of scale of the downtown
Yeah, that's,
and that smaller is better in general.
And
But a lot of the pushback we got was this idea we're building Rantoul Street in Beverly.
well, but also in residential, I mean, there are They're still neighborhoods. People live in these neighborhoods, and when you go up
Yeah.
higher, you block the light. And, also when you increase the footprint, it blocks light. I mean, there's that kind of,
Yeah, and there are other things that would constrain height as well, like parking for, residential uses and things like that. You're gonna limit the amount of development you can do.
Okay, well,
Is that your answer?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I liked how you put 4 question marks after that too, Mark.
we could see how residents feel about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think, again, just like with the MBTA, we want to make the change and have distinctive districts that will make a difference. But if it's going to be like a deal breaker, don't want to throw it in there. And this was perceived, people did make a big deal over it in the
They
MBTA.
did.
And they might do the same and it might be a deal breaker, and so you probably don't want to include it, but I thought we should at least discuss
Yeah, I
it.
think that's right.
Yeah,
As I recall, one of the vote no against 3A was just that,
Mhm.
the balloon. I
Yeah,
remember
the
that
balloon,
image, the
right.
balloon,
I have
Yeah,
a question about cargo. What's the height of that building? It's 3 stories.
35.
Cargo?
No.
It's 35, right?
It's
I
2
think
stories and a mansard
Two.
roof.
Yeah, so it's two
But
and
they
a half.
you live in the mansard.
Sure,
roof.
2.5 is okay, it's a half a story.
That's considered a half a story?
Yeah,
Why is that?
because it's a roof,
It's a full living
it's a
inside.
mansard roof.
Mansard roof, yeah, that's, all what you want, but it still has living inside it. Is that not violate 25 feet?
As I recall,
Argue
those-
with Paul
those-
or Lance.
Those drawings that they shared, it was the same height as the building, the residential one to its left as you look at it, or I think it was the same height.
It's the
as
same
the
height as
buildings.
one School Street
Yeah,
being renovated. The same height as the ones across on Central Street,
So 1 School Street, that's more than 2 stories. That's definitely,
2.5 and 3, yeah.
yeah, there's 2.5 there. I'm
That's,
trying to figure out how that all works.
your apartment's on that half story on
Yeah.
1 School Street.
Oh, it's something to consider with the height.
okay,
All right, accessory structures. So what did I do here? Right now it says in the general district, accessory structure has to be set back 5 feet from the side and rear lines, and apparently accessory structure shall be set back from the street on which the lot has frontage, at least applicable minimum from setback for such
Plus
lot
10
plus
feet.
10 feet.
that's interesting.
So it's at least 10 feet. So I wasn't sure what you wanted to do here. I kind of left it blank. We're probably not going to have a lot of accessory structures in the downtown district. Do you want to keep it the same as the general? Do you just want to make it 0?
Yeah, good
So
question.
I don't have a lot of concern either way, let's say.
I don't know.
So that's 0 lot line, it's allowable.
Well, right now
You have
it's
0 setback to 0 lot.
Yeah, it would be if I put 0, but for side and rear, because if we're going to allow 0 for the primary structure on the sides,
Oh,
10
this is for an
feet.
accessory structure.
These are for
Oh,
accessory. So
With the garden shed,
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I think we gotta think about this.
okay, so that's why I thought for the side and the rear 0, and the front I left blank because I don't about that.
Oh, I see what you did.
Mhm.
Side and rear.
So side and rear, I did 0 because I proposed 0 for the sides for the primary structure. So,
Wouldn't the front yard be 0 as a minimum as well?
Yeah, I don't know about
okay.
that.
You don't like that?
I don't know.
In a kind of semi-urban, denser environment, you do build right up to the back side of the side. Maybe not with a single-family house, but
So the next section is parking requirements, section 6. And so what I did here is I took our new use. I said hotel, motel, inn. I said hotel or inn, a hotel. 1 space per overnight room. So that would be added. And then,
So can I ask,
Yeah.
where does that, is that a past bylaw that we had? Or
No.
like when we had the Old Corner Inn, was there any?
No
The old Corner Inn
requirement.
was non-conforming.
Right.
We've never allowed to, well, ever since zoning was put in place in the 1940s, no one's ever proposed.
Okay.
So,
So 1 space per overnight room.
mhm.
I don't know anything about that industry in urban environments. Is that,
It's kind of typical.
is it? Okay.
it seems high to me.
It does. It sounds like a lot.
Well, but
Say
it-
you have a 10 room or 8 room, you have to have 8 spaces.
Yep.
On the weekends, you're going to be presumably, or all summer long, presumably up here, you're going to be booked almost every night. And when there are events and weddings and all those other things, the place is going to be full. So everyone's going to have,
You're gonna bring a car.
will have a car.
You might come on the
A
train.
few people might come on the train, but some people might come with 2 cars. So
do we have space for loading docks and,
that would be reviewed under site plan review. So you don't need to add special.
okay.
So play that out. Picture any of the buildings downtown gets purchased and they want to convert it to a hotel or
A
an
little
inn.
boutique hotel
Yeah.
with
And
10
it's
units.
6 or 7,
Mhm.
whatever, 10
Yeah.
units. And it's right on, the main road there. Where are you going to just put them on the street? You're going to,
Oh, then they wouldn't,
they wouldn't
purchase-
qualify.
they wouldn't do
Yeah,
that
they wouldn't be able to
properly,
do it,
right.
yeah.
but if, let's say you were going to, like the bank building where Santander is, that's kind of a deep lot. They have some parking in the back. Someone knocked that down, built the federal style nice little boutique hotel with 12 units. They probably can park 12 cars in the back. So,
Yeah, or the Cape Ann Savings Bank building.
Yeah,
mhm.
That could be.
Yeah.
It's got parking.
all that in front of it, right,
Yeah,
yeah.
inside of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Or in Harbor Point.
Or Harbor Point.
That would be kind of cool.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll do
All right.
So then here's the thing is add new section 6.1.9 for the downtown district, and this is also under parking. Commercial uses in the downtown district shall be exempt from parking requirements except for the following uses: adult entertainment uses, hotels and inns, fast food restaurants, motor vehicle, light service stations, repair and body shops for motor vehicles, and marijuana businesses. So uses that you don't
We don't allow
necessarily
it.
want to encourage downtown, I did not want to exempt them
Well,
from
I
the parking.
think adult entertainment and marijuana businesses are
Not
already
allowed.
Oh, okay.
not allowed
All right.
downtown.
I just went through the use chart,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So I didn't exempt residential. So if someone wants to build a residential, put 2 units above like their commercial space, they would have to provide whatever our current use chart required. So, so I didn't want to exempt residential use.
Something to think about, though,
Something to think
for multifamily and,
Mhm.
yeah.
But I thought, a good example again is 7 Central Street. They have the required parking spaces, 4 spaces behind the building for the residential, but they don't have any commercial space, parking.
So an
That's-
ADU
that's
in the
the way it
downtown,
was.
an ADU in the downtown will not require parking. Because this was
It would require the 1 space that's
No, because this was in a half mile of the train station.
point. That's
So
right.
it's something to think about.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, again, in trying to get this passed, I thought people would be more upset about exempting all residential parking than understanding that we have street parking, we have parking lots. There are places to park for your commercial, but you probably don't want the residential people taking up those spaces. So if you want to convert residential, you provide those people with on-site parking. Allow for, off-site parking elsewhere for commercial.
something to think about.
That's
Well,
great,
this
Mark.
is great,
Yeah,
Mark,
thank you.
and the map really helped.
Mhm.
Thank you. So what should our next step be on this?
Well, the next step will be our first meeting in September to go through a little more detail of this, do this again. I'll make the corrections. I'll have a little more information about lot coverage. I'll address the mixed use. I'll find out that specific answer from, and then I'll read through like some of the other sections to make sure that this new district isn't affected negatively by some other requirement elsewhere in our zoning. I would then recommend that we, after that meeting, between the 2 September meetings, we do a
Public forum, yeah.
public
a walk.
forum and a walk.
Yeah,
Or do them the same time. We do the walk first, then have a public sit down with people.
so if we did want to try and craft something, but for a November town meeting,
Mhm.
what kind of deadline are we up against in terms of having public hearings and forums before them?
So generally, that's why I'm trying to push to have one in between the September meetings. Generally, we'd like to meet a schedule is have draft voted by the end of September
Okay,
so that that can get submitted to the select board, brought back to the planning board so that I can post public hearings for October or early November. The date's not set, but they're anticipating if the planning board wants to move forward with this, that there would be an early November town.
okay. So any other questions from the board on the downtown district?
This is good.
So what does the board think about taking public comment now on this before we move on to driveways and senior
it's a good
housing?
idea.
Yes, well, it's fresh.
Okay, so any comment from the public? Questions, comments on the discussion of the downtown district?
There are no hands raised.
Well,
Oh,
Oh, there's Eli.
and, so in terms of your timeline for a November, town meeting, there's a 28-day notice from when the town meeting is gonna occur for any petition articles. I don't envision that there would be any. However, we would want to broadcast that there was going to be a town meeting and that the petition articles actually it would be desired that anybody wanting to do a petition article would go through the select board first and see if the select board would take it up. That requires a certain amount of lead time. So my point is, if you want to pull the trigger, so to speak, on a November town meeting, doing it late in the September timeframe is kind of pushing it. And I'm just offering that for your consideration.
Great. That's really helpful. So we need to make some decisions probably early September then. Sounds like.
At the very latest. Honestly, it's a little bit late to be doing this right now. It would be helpful for us to have a concrete kind of decision no later than early September, so we could broadcast this to people a little bit earlier.
So in terms of a concrete decision, yes or
Whether
no?
or not you're gonna have a town meeting.
Okay, I see.
That's different from the
Right,
actual
right.
submittal.
Great, great.
Or you would have to almost decide that you definitely want to submit this
Right.
in some form at the end of September.
Right.
But you gotta,
Thank you, Eli. That's very helpful.
Sure thing.
Any comments or questions from the public? Seeing none, let's go on to Mark. Let's do the driveways. You're up again.
well, again, okay. Here's spacing. Right. So driveways, so we've had some discussion past about driveways, and it's been working fairly well, having Public Works issue most driveway permits nowadays. Various things have come up, so board has asked me to put some edits together. Some are public safety related, some are from Public Works, and some are the desire of the board to make some edits and changes. So, here. One minute to pull these up. So we'll do the general bylaw first.
Oh, great, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you need that?
Thank you.
Here.
And is that the current Article 12?
Yes.
No, sorry, Article 7.
It's, well, I would go to the bylaw, which is section 46. It's the red line
Yes.
version
Okay.
somehow.
Oh, yeah, got it.
There we go. Yep. See that?
Great.
Okay, so this is our current bylaw, the red lines are the changes that we came up with. So under purpose, obviously public safety would like us to add that to ensure adequate public safety access is one of the purposes of the the bylaw, which is what it is as well, so that's in there. So we also removed things that we had standards in the regulations and in the bylaw. And so the bylaw is what authorizes you to write standards, which you adopt as regulation. So anything that was a regulation, so many feet, a driveway has to be 20 feet from the nearest street intersection is a standard. So we removed that, and in that case, it was already in, many of these are already in the bylaw. It was just kind of redundant to leave them in already in the regulations. So we proposed to take them out of the bylaw. So the first sentence that says all driveway entrances shall be located at least 20 feet from the nearest street intersection, 10 feet from the nearest driveway entrance, fire hydrant, 5 feet from lot lines, trees, utility poles, street fixtures be removed. Then next one's a goal. The entrances should be designed to maximize visibility in all directions and to minimize the flow of water on a public way and adjacent property. So that is something that you want to keep within the bylaw, but don't need in the regulations because it's not a practical. Then we removed, there shall be no more than one apron and curb cut on a residential lot. Added some language here that says they should be designed to avoid reduction of on-street parking. So then it says residential uses shall utilize only one driveway entrance unless otherwise allowed by the regulations for driveway entrance. So regulations govern the number of driveway entrances. And not the bylaw. And then driveway width, again, we're getting into regulations. It says driveway width as it is approaches the driveway entrance shall have a minimum of 8 feet and maximum 12 feet in width, combined driveway flare of 5 feet on either side of the driveway, and need a curb return. Again, that's a standard, so we took that out. We left in, again, the goal of keeping it, making it architectural access board standards, standards, and public works standards.
Mark, can I interrupt you with one question?
Yep.
So the standards are already in the regulation,
Mm-hmm.
and the regulations are promulgated by who?
The planning
The
board.
planning board, okay.
That's
Go
correct.
on.
And the bylaw already authorizes planning board to adopt regulation. So I didn't make any changes to administration and enforcement. It says the owner must submit a driveway application. That application shall be subject to regulations developed by the planning board and modified from time to time. So that doesn't change. That's where your authorization is. Then curb cuts that do not comply with the criteria herein or in the opinion of the BPW should require a special review may be permitted if the submittal is approved by the planning board. So,
But the criteria defined herein, have we taken that out?
yes. So it should be the criteria defined in the regulations. And I removed special permit. I just said it was approved by the planning board. So So it's a,
Well, what other mechanisms do we have to approve?
well, that's where it's a little vague. So, I mean, to be honest, yes. You know, we could leave it as a special permit. I still feel that's kind of a high standard, although it's discretionary, so, and you can attach
And it
conditions.
can be waived.
And it can be waived, and, you know, it's, so, you know, that's, again, kind of something to
Where you could
discuss.
add to our responsibilities of approval of driveways that don't meet the regulations.
Mhm.
Huh.
So,
That's-
but there should be a mechanism whereby if
Right.
someone is told no by Public Works for some reason, it was not safe or not adequately addressing drainage or whatever the issue is, that someone can appeal that decision or apply to the planning board for a special permit or some sort of approval.
I guess we need to think about that one.
Yes, yeah. Mhm.
Taking the decision-making
Mhm.
away from the DPW.
Right,
Which is what we wanted to do in the first place.
Right.
I mean, we wanted to
right.
Mhm.
give them the
So, but in instances where they don't meet the standard and there's a lot of flexibility, at least they have a mechanism to,
Yeah.
you know, maybe it should be a special permit because really don't want to encourage them to come before the planning board.
Right,
Because sure, you could approve it, but you can attach conditions that they don't want to comply with from Public Works. So then,
Yeah,
so maybe you do want to keep a higher standard. So something to think about. So down here at the bottom, we didn't have anything about enforcement, who enforces it, and so this bylaw shall be enforced by the Director of Public Works.
That's good.
So,
but if we had a special permit, would DPW end up having to enforce the conditions of the special permit?
Yes.
So, I was trying to
round
see
we
how,
go.
yeah.
mhm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can't get away from the driveway.
A circular driveway. Okay. All right, so what's our next step on this?
So the next step on this would be to finalize the language. And this would have to go to town meeting
Right.
for approval.
It's
So
not a
again,
zoning change, though, it's a bylaw change, is that right?
yes, it's a general bylaw change. So I
So
will,
different hearing requirements or same hearing prior to?
let's say similar.
At least some more.
I haven't changed the bylaw in a few years, so I'll look it up.
I'm pushing the envelope.
Actually, planning board actually wouldn't be required to hold it because it's a general bylaw. I believe the select board hold the public.
Okay.
But
We'll be thrilled.
I'll have your answer for the,
So, Mark, would it be reasonable to send these to general counsel for, town council for comment at this stage, or?
yeah, because at this stage, I think these edited regulations are, yeah, we can get, I don't think we're going to change this very much. So we could send this to council to get any like little language adjustments or something, can get that out of the way. And then, yeah, Then we get to the regulations.
Okay,
Driveway.
and so is the regulations that DPW and the fire department have weighed in on?
That's
Okay,
correct, yes, they have. So, so I met with both of them, I made a full set of changes, they sent back a couple of items. So the first change is under application requirements. So they no longer file it with the clerk, they just file it on OpenGov, which goes directly to Public Works. So,
Okay,
and application fee as determined by the Public Works Department. So we're removing the $100 fee, and they will determine what the fee shall be.
And will that be published in here once they determine that, or is that just
No,
based on a
that'll
case-by-case
be-
basis?
Yeah, they'll put it on the website,
Okay.
what the fees
it's
are.
not like they charge you one fee and me another
Right.
one, it'll be
No.
a standard fee on the website, okay?
Yes.
Just checking.
So fees, which has to do with drawing up plans, as does C. D also talks about plans, and E talks about features on the plans like hydrants, trees, drains, and the next one talks about calculations of pervious coverage. And then the final one is the Public Works, which is new, is the Public Works Director can waive, modify any of the above requirements, provided there is enough information submitted to determine whether the standards of the driveway entrance bylaw and these regulations are being met. So, so these are pretty strict set of standards that have people, draw up very detailed plans like this for a driveway entrance. Now, if it's a new lot that someone's developing, they're already going to have most of this information. That'll be fine. But if someone's just shifting their driveway over 10 feet or something like that, it doesn't always require this today as it is.
So that's why the waiver,
So that's exactly why the waiver is there.
so they had a question about, should there be a provision for a second curb cut for an approved ADU?
Yeah, that was a question. I don't think there should be. We had talked about that during our ADU.
Right.
bylaw.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
I think we're
Yeah.
requiring they use this.
Yes.
Yes. we were. So then we get to review of applications, and we're removing the first sentence, which says the town clerk will forward the application to the Department of Public Works for review and approval with a copy sent to the building inspector. So that gets reviewed because they file it on the online permitting system directly with Public Works. Then the criteria for driveway entrances. When we get to the number of driveway entrances, which is B, we propose changes there. So, residential lots shall be limited to a single driveway entrance, and then we add, unless the second driveway entrance will eliminate the need for vehicles to back out onto streets, back out onto the abutting roadway. Loop driveways are driveways which have entrances onto two different streets may be permitted by the Public Works, provided all entrances meet the width, setback, drainage, grading requirements.
So on the backing up, I mean, every second driveway would reduce or eliminate the need for vehicles to back out, right?
Well, you can have hammerheads where you back into.
Yes.
we're just on, this is just about entrances.
Right,
So if let's say you have a house with a big parking area in the front, like your house is set back, and you can turn around there, then they can not approve that because there's no need for it.
okay,
But if your house is 50 feet back from the street and the only way in and out of a bit is to back right out, but you have enough front yard space to do a little loop and make it look nice, then that's a safety.
Like that house we've talked about on School Street.
right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a perfect.
Yes.
So what are there are disadvantages to consider too, like you're cutting out green space by making two entrances.
Mhm.
You're making it harder for pedestrians. I'm just trying to think of reasons.
Well, I would argue against that. You're making it harder for pedestrians because if there's a sidewalk there, it's going to be constructed in such a manner as not to obstruct the sidewalk. And the same number of vehicles, so having two entrances does not increase the number of vehicle trips to in and out of a property. That's just determined by who lives there, right? So you're not increasing the number of trips, so you're not really increasing the number of conflict possible. The number of times a vehicle goes across the sidewalk onto the street. You're actually making it safer by having half of those vehicle trips or a number of them, where the driver is like looking at the sidewalk as opposed to like trying to back up and see. Sure there's no pedestrian behind them, and they also make sure no cars are coming up at the same time. So
Good point.
So these are regulations, so we just get to approve these ourselves.
that's correct.
It's a
Oh,
public hearing,
great.
After a public hearing.
yeah. So we don't need to worry about timelines for town meeting. And in fact, we shouldn't be adopting these until after the town meeting.
That's correct.
Okay.
I think it would help that town meeting to say, we've
These
already
are
worked out our
regulations.
regulations,
Right.
these are the reasons why we're amending the
Right.
bylaw.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Okay, width. Driveway width is defined as the drivable surface area capable of supporting fire apparatus. A driveway width as it approaches the driveway entrance shall have a minimum of 10 feet and a maximum of 12 feet in width. That's to support the fire trucks, which he needs a minimum of 10 feet to get in, and on longer driveways, he needs 12.
Wow.
I don't understand how wide is a fire truck?
Pretty wide nowadays. Yeah. So, because they have mirrors as well that stick out.
Oh, that doesn't require paved surface.
So I changed the minimum width of the entrance along the edge of the roadway pavement to 10 feet from 8 feet. And then provided the primary structure is located within 50 feet of the roadway, otherwise the maximum shall be 12 feet. So again, that's having to do with driving down the driveway. Smaller, the house is within 50 feet, they may not even drive in the
No,
driveway
but
to
you
fight
say
the
50
fire.
feet, Mark, isn't it 100 feet?
That says 100.
No, that's crossed off.
Oh, that's crossed off.
Mhm.
Fine.
Could be. Okay.
Okay, you got it.
The driveway is more than 100 feet in length, there shall be a minimum of 12 feet. All driveways for, this was just sent to me by the chief today. It says, all driveways for structures located more than 50 feet from the roadway shall have an unobstructed area that there shall be clear obstructions 20 feet wide and 13 feet tall to ensure fire department apparatus access.
Oh,
That's crazy.
that doesn't seem realistic.
So that's not the surface he drives on, that's just
I know.
the corridor that he drives through.
But it's like trees, people have trees on their property.
You know? Well, that's what he would like, so.
Unless he's got a chainsaw business.
So, again, you know, these are, a lot of what is improvements over what there is, so. That's what he would like. A special permit from the planning board is required if the driveway is less than the minimum required.
We could end up with a lot of driveway
Mhm.
special permit
Yeah,
hearings.
yeah, we gotta be careful here.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. So. Okay.
no,
Well, you're not gonna have driveways that are less than 8 feet or even 10 feet. They won't get permit to do that, so. And it'll affect the ability to get a building,
right.
so. You know, basically it's a public safety. They do have to get in.
Right.
But they are pretty good drivers.
Yeah, a lot of practice on some of the roads.
Yeah.
So then we get to the chart, our little chart here, and Nate had sent me a note saying they can change all the numbers on the chart, or they can remove some of the specific numbers, so that it just shows how you'd like it to be constructed, but without the numbers which are actually in
Yeah,
the
that's,
bylaw.
the chart should reflect what's in the regulation, for
Right.
sure.
Mm-hmm. So, then I don't think we have. Yeah, here it says, we can either remove or can edit the PDF to remove the numbers or make it for illustrative purposes. Then we get to a new section I added for commercial driveways. And I said, new commercial driveways shall be reviewed by the planning board under site plan review and shall comply with CMR 527, which is the fire safety code. So if it's a new development or
But what
rehab,
about like downtown?
so if it's a new development, you're gonna be
Right.
reviewing it
Doing
anyway.
site plan
right.
review.
So, the only thing where it'd be a little cumbersome would be is if someone already has a commercial building
Right.
and they want to move the driveway from one place to another. So they're going to have to come before the board, but it's site plan review, so it's a less cumbersome process to have that driveway shifted or changed to a different location on the property. But given the limited number of commercial properties we have in the community, I don't think that overly strenuous requirement.
And if it turns out to be, we can change the regulations.
Right.
Right, it's in the regs, so. Everything else is mostly the same except for the last one on E, which says, So this was if you were denied from the, by Public Works, you can apply for a special permit from the planning board with an additional 75 applications. So if someone's applying for a planning board special permit, they should follow all the regular procedures, including the
Right.
fees for a special permit, because we have to process it the exact same. So, so they got rid of the $75 fee and said they have to pay the regular fee and get a special. So, that's it.
Okay. So what do we do next?
So what do we do next? So I will make revisions to the bylaw. I will make some revisions to the regulations. Send the bylaw to council to be looked at. And then we will also have it on the agenda for early September.
Okay. Busy September.
Yes. Yes. Boy, the rest of August while you can.
So I'm just wondering, what would people think about doing our walk around the commercial district as part of our September 8th meeting?
No, before it,
Or as part of it, maybe.
yeah.
And I'll talk to Sarah.
Yeah.
We meet at 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that idea.
Keep that as a possibility. Move that one
And
along.
invite the public to join us.
Roll through the town, maybe we
Yeah.
can alert all the store owners. Make
Right.
an event out of it. They were looking for one in September.
Chamber of Commerce, you know.
Well, thank you, Mark.
Mhm.
So do we need to talk about CHODS right now? That's the next thing on the agenda.
Oh, well, now that you're,
Could I ask a point of information?
Yes, you can, of
So
course.
The proposed changes to the driveway bylaws, those in general bylaws, is that correct?
Yes.
So the bylaw, yes, that's general bylaw. The regulations are planning board.
Right. So, what would be the actual effect on driveways that were non-conforming if we passed that bylaw?
they, so
Existing driveways.
they can remain. Our current bylaw says all driveway entrances in existence prior to the adoption of this bylaw shall not require review unless they are substantially modified or relocated. So existing driveways are not affected by this in any way.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Senior housing, do you want to?
Yeah, we can do it pretty quickly. I think.
Okay,
So if we're going to attack senior housing for the fall town meeting, we have to make some very quick decisions. And luckily, the planning board has already discussed senior housing for the past 5 or 6 years. And we've even put it on the warrant for a town meeting, but because there were issues with the way the town meeting technically was being conducted, we were unable to get to this particular warrant article. So I think the question for the planning board is, I've given you language of what was going to be on those warrants. If there are no significant changes to them, we can probably put it on for the fall. It's not going to require a lot of work. They've been reviewed by town council and so forth. If we want to make significant changes to that language, it probably shouldn't be for the fall. Too much on our plate. So I want to ask the board some very simple questions. I'm assuming everybody thinks that senior housing in general is a good idea, that we should be doing it. But if anybody thinks otherwise, let's get that out of the way right away. Nobody thinks it's a bad idea.
I think it's a good
It's a
idea.
good idea.
High priority.
All right, so I'm going to tell you the issues to consider. Should senior facilities, housing facilities be allowed in all districts? Or do we want to limit them to specific districts? I'm not sure we would need to answer those tonight, but if somebody says, we propose them for all districts. So a deal breaker might be if you say, well, no, we want to exempt District E from senior housing, then I think that's going to cause complication that might knock us out of a fall town meeting.
What would be reason to do that?
We don't want senior housing in a particular district for whatever reason.
Right. But I mean, and why? Why not?
Well, I
I'm
don't
sorry,
know.
I can't
The
think of it.
stigma of senior housing, perhaps?
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, the people have this idea that senior housing is is Brooksby Village with, 100 units. But it's not, it can be 5 or 6 units.
Which is all defined in your,
Yes, yeah, I
Yeah.
tried to make that clear, but. So is everybody okay with all districts for now?
Such as this new.
Yeah.
downtown district.
Like the downtown, yeah, sure.
I would think, just not knowing facts, I would think it would be appropriate for most districts, but maybe not for all. I think that's something we need to discuss and come up with.
Well, we don't have a lot of time to discuss it, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's a short discussion. We could do the same zoning map I'm looking at right here. See what the likelihood is. Maybe there's one or two that shouldn't be put in. Like the downtown district, perhaps.
Well, I would think the downtown district would be the best place.
That's what I just said, downtown. I know, I've talked with you enough to know that you've got some hot spots down there.
Has anybody brought any points up to argue against this as
I think what
Peter
we've
was gonna-
heard, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
because I was not on the board in November, but discussions since then have centered around, traffic, aides coming in and out to help. Really no different from any other home with visitors coming in and out. Traffic was one.
Traffic,
Um,
yeah, that's right.
I can't remember the others.
So I think that the discussion was like the D district, would that be, because those are lots of little small houses and suddenly you're gonna plunk some larger facility in the middle of it. Would that be appropriate? Would that mess up traffic on Pleasant Street or something? We tried to point out that in fact senior housing generates much less traffic than typical single-family house does, and so I think that issue was discussed and resolved.
I wonder, does the advent of the ADU zoning play any role? Because that wasn't really in effect.
It might, yeah, it might. I mean, it would certainly help if you have senior parents that you
Right.
want to move out of
It
your
might,
property.
it might create more support for this.
Yeah, it might, yes, that's right. Mhm. So that's the first issue. The second one. There's a lot of different things here. And by the way, I want to point out, remind everybody that nursing homes, which are senior housing facilities, very institutional, but that's what they are, they're allowed by special permit in any district right now. So We're looking for precedents.
We have not seen a lot of applications.
We have not seen a lot of applications for nursing
Have you
homes.
seen any?
We've never gotten, they're not allowed, so we've
Right.
never gotten
That's a
them.
good point.
We might get a lot, I don't know. Should there be specific age restrictions? Should we require, for example, that all residents be 65 or older, or 55 or older? A second resident, should they be, the spouse, should they be the same age, younger? There be a child living there, an adult child, 18 or older? We
What
probably
was the
don't.
proposal initially?
Initially, there was no age restrictions at all. Senior housing is
Oh,
for
really?
people 55 and older.
55 and older.
Yeah. But the revised one says one member of the household has to be 55 or older, and no one living there can be younger than 18.
Yeah. That would make sense. What are you reading from?
Well, this is the thing I sent out to everybody.
Oh.
I think those are really the only issues, I think, unless people have questions about some of these.
So the only question I would have is, I read that, I don't remember it as well as I should. So it might be great to allow us all to read it one last time. And then
Sure.
I think if we meet in early September and there's still no issues, then I think we'd have time, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think we can do it.
Yeah,
Because it's already drafted and approved
Right.
by.
right.
Here's my thinking too, because I have spoken to Chris. I have my little journey up to the top of the mountain many times and just we sit out as boards to talk about this stuff. I'm afraid if we don't bring this up, if it doesn't bring to the fore, we're going to lose the opportunity if there is a site available that it may be developable for senior housing, such as the one right off Pleasant Street at the end where the Public Works Department leaves it. And if we miss that opportunity, that's a missed thing. I think bringing this up to the fore may be a larger opportunity for more development and maybe even that site. I don't know. I think it's a good thing.
I think in general, everyone I've talked to thinks it's a great idea. People get concerned about whether these all have to be, maybe we want, sometimes you see things like a 5-acre minimum lot size. But if you're only doing 3 units, that doesn't make very much sense. So I think it should be left open and to be lot coverage and dimensional requirements that we've spelled out that kind of take care of that problem. All the height restrictions would be the same. So no one is going to be, and it would be a special permit, so there'd be review to make sure that they meet all the performance standards.
I agree.
Any questions or comments from the public on senior housing? Oh, also, I forgot to ask about driveways. Okay, none? So how do you want to proceed, Chris?
So I guess at the next meeting, I want everybody to read all that stuff again and come with questions and comments. And if we're still good to go, we can make a decision then.
I agree. Perfect.
And I think one thing to weigh is how many of these initiatives can we do in the fall? I mean, we may want to pick one. We may want to try for them all, but I think we just need to be realistic about the amount of work that will be required to bring driveways, downtown, and senior housing all.
And I think it'll be a question for the select board as well.
Yeah.
Didn't we at the first meeting of this group, or one of the first, identify the projects that we wanted to focus on?
Yes,
I think those three were the ones that we focused on.
Yeah.
That's why we brought them.
yes,
Beautiful.
yes.
Nice continuity. Good. Just checking.
The question is, can we get them all three in common?
Yes.
This fall.
When you say this fall, are you meaning for town meeting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Okay. And Eli already outlined it.
right.
Yeah, so it's time,
Right,
the clock is
Yeah.
ticking.
All right, liaison updates. I'm Historic Commission. We're meeting Thursday. That will be my first meeting, so I don't have anything to report.
So
I
affordable housing is meeting on the 20th,
think we're just doing Historic Commission
Oh,
and
just-
the
oh, I'm
School
sorry.
Building Committee.
excuse me.
Sarah only wants to do a couple, so
Okay,
that
good.
we
I'm
don't
off the
run
hook.
through the whole.
I got nothing to say anyway, so.
Thank goodness. School Building
Looking at
Committee.
me, oh, that's the Essex School Building Committee, by the way. The elementary school, so I was just telling Chris a little bit ago, where we selected the owner's project manager already, and we are selecting the architect tomorrow, so this is tomorrow morning, at 8 o'clock to do the interviews, so it's a hot topic. And this is gonna turn into some sort of reality. The reason why it's on here is because of my little statement of a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
that One of the considerations is modification of the elementary school that we just finished here. It's a little bit far-fetched, I tell you. I've seen some of the architects' recommendations, not recommendations, their first pass at it. And it's a bit far-fetched, so I don't think that will be the one. It's definitely not the preferred choice, but it is one that the MSBA, the Mass State School Building Authority, is asking us to consider. Renovation, modification, build new, wherever the build new is, and then work in all. So it's just something. And forgive me, I have to add the facilities planning. They start on Friday of this week. We have our first meeting at 9 o'clock on Friday morning. Talk about it. And they're going to be talking about.
We're
talking about
keeping you
Pleasant-
busy, we're keeping you busy, aren't we?
That's okay.
Earning your salary.
Yeah. I'll get double what I get right now.
Correspondence, I didn't see any.
Nope.
Okay. Minutes, is it just the,
Yeah.
and that looked fine, except Chris Olney's not mentioned as being present, but he was present because he made motion during the minutes. So we need to add him as being present.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any comments on the minutes?
Let's see if I can-
I was not in the last meetings. Absent.
Were you there on the 12th, on the date of the minute?
No, he hadn't started yet,
Oh, right, of
Yeah.
course, right.
and I wasn't present either, according to
Okay,
this.
then we can't vote on them, right? Just the three of us?
Oh.
Okay, well, sorry, we'll have to vote on them next
Oh
time.
dear, okay.
These are the AI minutes. They are.
Well, they're perfect, except for adding Chris. Okay, motion to adjourn,
I moved.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.